Hi, I'm Eleanor, and up until 2 months ago, I thought I had it all figured out. Picture this: a corner office at Wilson Marketing, a gorgeous fiancé named James, and what I believed was the most supportive family in Chicago. Funny how life loves to pull the rug right from under you, right? You're so lucky, Elle. James is absolutely perfect, my younger sister Sarah would say, batting those innocent eyes of hers. She'd always tag along to our dinner dates and wedding planning sessions. At first, I thought it was sweet, my baby sister wanting to be involved in my big day. Hey, beautiful. Your sister's got some great ideas for the wedding. Mind if she joins us at the venue tomorrow? James asked one evening. That should have been my first red flag. Eleanor, honey, why don't you consider the venue Sarah suggested? She's always had better taste in these things, Mom would say during our family dinners, while Dad nodded along. Same old story. Sarah could do no wrong in their eyes. You don't see it, do you? My best friend Michael caught me at the coffee machine at work. Your sister's been to more of your wedding planning meetings than you have. Don't be ridiculous, Mike. She's just excited about being my maid of honor. Then came the family barbecue last weekend. Sarah was helping James at the grill, their heads too close together, laughing at some private joke. James, babe, need any help? I called out. No, we've got it covered. Sarah's showing me her special marinade technique. Your sister's really something special, Eleanor. Our family friend Diana pulled me aside. I've noticed how involved she's getting with your wedding plans. That's just Sarah being Sarah. She's always been a bit clingy. Later that night, I overheard Mom and Dad in the kitchen. Eleanor's lucky to have Sarah helping with everything. You know how scattered she can be with planning. Remember her college graduation party? If Sarah hadn't stepped in, it would have been a disaster. Dad chuckled. I stood there frozen. Was this how they've always seen me? The scatterbrained older sister who needed saving? Hey sis, I hope you don't mind, but James and I were thinking of changing the color scheme. The one you picked is a bit basic. Sarah breezed past me with that smile she'd perfected since childhood, the one that always got her what she wanted. I watched as she walked over to James, her hand lingering just a bit too long on his arm as she showed him something on her phone. He smiled that special smile, the one that used to be just for me. Elle, you okay? Michael appeared beside me, concern etched on his face. Yeah, just thinking about how perfect everything is, I lied, ignoring the knot forming in my stomach. Perfect. Right. Just like how perfect it was when Sarah borrowed my prom date for a dance and never brought him back. Just like how perfect it was when she got into my dream college and my parents threw her a bigger party than my graduation. But this time it's different. This time I'm not letting her take what's mine. Not my fiancé, not my wedding, not my happiness. They just don't know it yet. The first crack appeared during our cake tasting appointment. James didn't show, and Sarah waltzed in instead, 20 minutes late. Oh, James couldn't make it. He asked me to fill in. We've been texting about the flavors. My fork stopped midway to my mouth. You've been texting about our wedding cake? Don't be so uptight, sis. He values my opinion, that's all. Later that week, I noticed James's phone lighting up on our coffee table. A message from S popped up. Last night was perfect. Can't wait for next time. Hey, Michael, am I going crazy? I paced around his office the next morning. They're texting constantly, and he's missed 3 vendor meetings this month. You're not crazy. Tom, James's brother, mentioned seeing them at Riverside Cafe last Tuesday when James told you he was working late. My heart dropped. What exactly did Tom say? That they looked cozy. Listen, I hate being the one to tell you this, but my phone buzzed. A text from Diana. Need to talk. ASAP. It's about Sarah and James. We met at a quiet corner of Murphy's bar. Diana's hands were shaking as she pulled out her phone. I wasn't going to say anything, but this isn't right. Look at these photos from the country club. There they were, Sarah and James in the garden, heads close together, his hand on her waist. The timestamp showed last Thursday, during my bridal appointment. That sneaking little, I'm calling Mom and Dad. Eleanor, sweetie, you're overreacting. Mom's dismissive voice crackled through the speaker. They're just bonding. Isn't that what you wanted? Bonding? They're sneaking around behind my back. Now listen here, young lady. Dad cut in. Your sister's trying to help. She always thinks of others first. Maybe you could learn something from her. Are you kidding me? She's stealing my fiancé. Eleanor, how dare you accuse your sister of such things? Sarah would never. She would, and she is, just like she did with every other good thing in my life. That's enough. You're just jealous because Sarah's more naturally gifted at these things. Always have been. I hung up, my hands shaking. That's when I saw them through the bar's window, James and Sarah, walking hand in hand into the jewelry store across the street, the same one where he bought my engagement ring. Following your fiancé? Tom's voice startled me. He slid into the seat next to mine at the bar window. How long have you known about their secret meetings? A while. James asked me to cover for him a few times. Said they were planning a surprise for you. But the way they look at each other. Why are you telling me this? Because my brother's a coward. And your sister? Let's just say you're not the first bride she's done this to. Remember Angela from college? The room spun slightly. Angela, Sarah's former best friend, who called off her wedding and moved to Seattle overnight. I think it's time we compared notes, Tom. Tell me everything you know. My phone buzzed again. A text from James. Can't make dinner tonight. Working late. Another message popped up right after, from Diana. They just booked a table for 2 at La Maison, tonight at 8. Well, I said, finishing my drink. Looks like I know where I'm having dinner tonight. La Maison's dim lighting couldn't hide the truth anymore. Through the decorative divider, I watched James and Sarah sharing more than just dinner plans. Their fingers intertwined on the table, heads close together, laughing at private jokes. My engagement ring glinting on my finger felt like it was burning. Got everything? Tom whispered, adjusting the tiny camera on my purse. Crystal clear video. Let's see them talk their way out of this one. I waited until Sunday's family dinner. Everyone was there. Mom, Dad, James, Sarah, even Diana and Michael came for moral support. Before we start dinner, I have a special presentation. I connected my phone to the TV. A little peek into our wedding planning process. The color drained from Sarah's face as the restaurant footage played. James dropped his fork. What's this about working late, honey? Looks like you were working really hard on my sister. Eleanor, I can explain. Save it. Here's my favorite part. The video continued, showing them kissing in the restaurant's alcove. Eleanor, turn that off right now. Mom stood up, hands shaking. Why? Isn't this what you wanted? Sarah being involved in my wedding? This isn't what it looks like, Sarah stammered. Really? Because it looks like you're screwing my fiancé. Eleanor! Dad slammed his hand on the table. Watch your language. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. Oh, there is. Tom, would you like to share what you told me about Angela? Tom cleared his throat. Sarah did the same thing to Angela in college. Stole her fiancé 2 months before the wedding. They're probably still together in Seattle. The room fell silent. Mom's face went pale. That's different, Sarah whispered. Is it? Diana, show them what you found. Diana pulled out a stack of papers. Hotel receipts, text messages, photos spanning months. You've been planning this all along, haven't you, Sarah? Just like with Angela, like with my prom date, like with everything else in my life. Eleanor, baby, please. James reached for my hand. It just happened. We didn't mean to what? Fall in love? Plan meetups behind my back? Use my wedding planning as your dating schedule? If you had paid more attention to James, Mom interrupted, maybe he wouldn't have turned to Sarah. Are you seriously defending them right now? Well, honey, Dad added, you have been quite focused on your career lately. Sarah was just trying to help herself to my fiancé, and you're still taking her side? Nobody's taking sides, Sarah pleaded. We just connected. Connected. Over what? Betraying me? You know what? Keep him. You deserve each other. I pulled out one last envelope. By the way, James, remember that joint account we opened for the wedding? I have proof it was used to fund your little dates. I'm sure the firm's ethics board will find that interesting. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Oh, and Sarah? Those clients you've been bragging about at your new job? Funny how they all came from my contact list. I wonder what your boss would say about that. Eleanor, please, Sarah begged. We can work this out. Like you worked things out with Angela? Michael, send the emails. Already done. Both their companies should be receiving some interesting documentation right about now. I stood up, dropping my engagement ring in James's wine glass. Consider this my wedding gift to you both. Hope it was worth it. 3 months later, I sat in my new corner office at Weber and Associates, watching my phone light up with notifications. Michael burst through the door, grinning. The ethics board's decision just came in. James is out. They're calling it gross misconduct involving company resources. Have you seen Sarah's LinkedIn? Her profile's gone dark after that client poaching scandal. Oh, it gets better. Angela just landed from Seattle. She's ready to tell everyone exactly what happened 5 years ago. Diana rushed in, waving her phone. You won't believe this. Sarah and James called off their engagement. Apparently, he's been seeing his secretary. History repeats itself. I couldn't help but smirk. How are Mom and Dad handling their golden child's fall from grace? They're practically social outcasts since the country club got wind of everything. Nothing like sponsoring your younger daughter's affair with your older daughter's fiancé to tank your reputation. My phone buzzed. A text from Tom. Heads up, Sarah's heading to your office. Minutes later, Sarah stormed in. Mascara streaked down her face. Happy now? You've ruined everything. Funny, that's exactly what Angela said you did to her. That was different. James and I were in love. Were? Past tense already? He's been... I found him with someone else. Karma's not just a trendy name, sis. Mom and Dad won't even talk to me. The whole family's turned against us. Against you, you mean? They finally see you for what you are. I got fired! Those were my clients! No, they were my clients. You stole them just like you stole everything else. Michael stepped forward. Security's on their way up. You can't do this to me. I'm your sister, were past tense. As security let her out, Mom's number flashed on my phone. Eleanor, honey, we were wrong. So terribly wrong. Save it. I've got a meeting with Weber's biggest client. You know, the one who dropped your country club membership after hearing about your family values. Please, can we talk about this? Like we talked about Sarah's special bond with James? Or how about we discuss Angela's wedding? Oh, wait, that never happened either. Diana handed me a coffee. James just called. He's begging to explain. Block his number. I've got better things to do than listen to cheater's remorse. My phone buzzed again. An email notification. My promotion to senior VP was approved, complete with a corner office overlooking the city. Mike, remember when you said Karma's a patient friend? Sure do. Well, she just RSVP'd to my success party. Think we should invite the happy couple? Nah, they're too busy dealing with their own karma. James's secretary just went public with some interesting emails. Looking out my office window, I could see Sarah's favorite lunch spot, now under new management after losing its liquor license thanks to an anonymous tip about serving minors. Turns out karma really does keep receipts. You know what the best revenge is? I picked up my keys for a lunch meeting. Success? Diana guessed. No, watching them self-destruct without having to lift a finger. Now, who's up for celebrating my promotion at the new place across town? I hear they actually card people. What would you do if you discovered your trusted sibling was secretly plotting to steal your fiancé? Would you expose them immediately, or plan a calculated revenge like Eleanor did? Share your thoughts in the comments. Would you give them a chance to explain? Or do you believe some betrayals are completely unforgivable? If you enjoyed Eleanor's journey to justice, hit that like button and subscribe for more dramatic revenge stories that explore complex family dynamics and the consequences of betrayal. New stories every week. Remember, sometimes the people closest to us can hurt us the most. How would you handle such a deep family betrayal?